video does a great job in describing 5D and heaven. They're very close. And my take on it is, why would there be two different places that are exactly the same? I think that the old guys that were the anointed ones back in the day, the ones that, took this story and wrote it down, or this information, and guided through, the guys that didn't drive a car or get on a bus or fly on a plane, they wore robes and sandals, those dudes. Okay, well, they called it heaven. Now we have millions of fifth dimensional beings surrounding Earth telling us heaven, excuse me, telling us heaven and 5D are the same thing. And these are fifth dimensional beings with all kinds of cool technologies and stuff, galactic federations, like from Star Wars and Star Trek. They're telling us, yeah, there's a heaven, but it's 5D. So, and 5D, from their description, sounds like way more fun than heaven. Like if I had a choice between heaven and 5D, I would take the 5D because the details are really juicy and the description of heaven is really vague. So I'm pretty sure they're the same place. Matter of fact, I'm sure of it. I agree with the Galactics. They say 5D is heaven, and we're about to ascend into it. They know a lot more about it than we do. You have to understand, we've been dumbed down. The truth has been kept from us. So when these highly intelligent fifth dimensional beings tell us what's going down, why wouldn't we accept it, especially when it's the same thing and it sounds good to us? It's God, but there's just no Jesus involved. Anyhow, listen to this description. I hope you get something out of this, because I've listened to it a couple of times, and it's long, but I've got something out of it each time I listen to it. So listen to this.
5D is the new heaven. Updated November 4th, 2021, the spiritual fifth dimension has quickly become everyone's new hope in life. Christianity holds the idea of heaven as the salvation that humans will achieve in return for leading a good life on this sin-filled planet Earth. At least that is how I have viewed the Christian heaven. But, in response to this article, a Christian also told that heaven is the reward for those who recognize and accept Jesus as their Savior. This is because we are all sinner, and it is not possible to be good in this life. Either way, Christians have a deep belief in after-death salvation from the present suffering that they are experiencing. In the same way, many New Age esoteric teachings today hold the spiritual fifth dimension, 5D, as the salvation that humans we will achieve this in return for leading a good life on our lower third dimensional, 3D, planet Earth. Being good in this sense is recognizing and accepting that we are not our temporary body and ego. Instead, our true self is our deeper soul, of higher self, which is eternal. That is the most fundamental teaching of New Age spirituality, across many different traditions, methods, and schools of thought. For details on the spiritual dimensions, see Explainer. What are the different spiritual dimensions of reality? What does it mean to say that Earth moving from the third to fifth dimension of reality? By Alan Liu, Medium.com. Followers of these 5D teachings have a deep faith that the Earth is currently ascending to the fifth dimension. This will be our reward for all the suffering that the planet has endured the last few thousand years, and especially in 2020, the year of COVID-19. Similarities. In the sense described above, the concepts of heaven and 5D are almost identical. They both present a utopian future as a reward for accepting certain beliefs while in our human form that bring freedom from, or at least help reduce, present-day sufferings. They both need faith in a greater reality, the spirit realms, beyond the capabilities of our logical and scientific ways of experiencing and knowing reality and the universe. They both have a self-realization experience known as being born again for Christians, accepting Jesus, and being awakened for New Age beliefs, accepting one's deeper, eternal self. They both believe that a higher intelligence is in control, managing, or in some way, influencing our life, ***. They both see the utopian future as something that brings them closer to God /all that is, which is that higher intelligence in number 4. And they both include a wide range of spiritual practices from diverse teachers, ranging from fundamentalist doctrines to the esoteric. New Age spirituality tends to be more esoteric, though it really depends on the teacher. The shared self-realization experiences, number 3 above, are interesting to me. You are not a true Christian unless you have been born again and accept Jesus as your Savior from the sins of your body, mind, emotions, and ego. These sins are an inherent part of our 3D life that we can never escape. For New Age believers, the whole process of awakening and enlightenment is coming to know your true self as not your body, mind, emotions, and ego. Instead, you identify with your higher, deeper or inner self. Your body, mind, emotions, and ego are the source of all the suffering that one experiences. That sounds a lot like Christian sins. *** note. Some have suggested that items number 1 through number 4 on this list are also shared with those who follow various political conspiracy theories, which may or may not be spiritual, as well. Although written with other purposes in mind, this article provides a nice summary of some basic New Age beliefs. Time to join the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Individual membership is kind of easy, according to one channeled entity, and well worthwhile. By Alan Liu, Medium.com. Suffer now for a future reward. In both New Age and Christian beliefs, our 3D planet is a source of suffering and delusion. The way to escape this is through higher dimensional intelligences and spirit energies. That's why they call it spirituality. This escape is in the future, although there is also a temporary coming to terms with suffering that is possible while in a human body. Critiques accuse Christian leaders, priests and ministers of creating the idea of heaven to control their followers. Followers must sacrifice now, or they will not receive the rewards in the end. Other non-Christian Orthodox religions have similar beliefs. And this can be seen in New Age spirituality, as well. New Age spiritual leaders promote every possible form of spiritual practice with the promise of achieving awakening, enlightenment, and a new earth. For New Age, Christian, and other establishment religious leaders, their teachings have gained them many admiring followers and comfortable incomes. It can sometimes seem that their real message is that spirituality is an easy way to become famous and make lots of money. Both are powerful ways to feed the ego. This in itself is not necessarily bad. Everything is a lesson. And the right teacher will be there for the right students at the right time. It may be a hard lesson for the student. But once learned, one will move further along the spiritual path. Am I on the right path? A channeled answer for a friend that applies to everyone. By Alan Liu, Medium.com. The concept of heaven exists in most of the major religions of the world. The similarities described above are found in the varying forms in other religions, as well. As such, heaven says more about the common desire of humankind for a better world and better life experience than any particular religious teaching. Differences. Beyond these similarities there are differences. 1. When will we reach heaven? The main one is that Christianity, and the entire Judeo-Christian Islamic tradition, holds that a person's soul reaches heaven, or is sent to hell after the death of our physical body. These are final destinations without anything beyond them. Purgatory is another option that some Christians, mostly Catholics, believe in. Many New Age beliefs hold that awakening and ascension to 5D can happen while we are still in our physical body. They say that it is the last dimension where we can keep our physical bodies. This is currently also happening for the entire planet, as we move to a 5D heaven on Earth. But in New Age spirituality, there are also more dimensions, 6D, 7D, and above, see the article linked above, that we can further ascend to without our physical bodies. 2. What is heaven like? Descriptions of heaven are vague in the Christian tradition, at least from what I recall from growing up in Catholic schools. It is where God and all the high angels reside, along with all the good souls that made it there. It is absent of any evil influences from Satan, which is a major problem on Earth. My sense is that it is a place or state of eternal bliss. 5D is somewhat more clear, but also described in very different ways by different contemporary New Age teachers. Overall, though, 5D is usually a place where everyone experiences oneness and unconditional love, is enlightened, has vast psychic powers to create anything they want, and communicates with extraterrestrials and ascended masters. I have also heard 5D described as the free will that we experience in a lucid dream. Our daily waking state is the third dimension. We have some free will in our 3D lives. We are able to make choices that seem to have some impact, at least sometimes. The dreams that we remember are in 4D. In those dreams we are subject to a series of one random event after another. Our lucid dreaming state is what 5D is like. In a lucid dream we know we are dreaming, and we know we can manipulate the dream in any way we wish. That is the 5D experience. Maybe the Christian heaven is the same? 3. Heaven and hell is here and within us. The biggest difference from Christianity might be the New Age belief that we create our own reality. Rather than being something out there in the sky, heaven is here on earth. It is something we create in our minds as part of our everyday experience. This, of course, applies to hell and purgatory as well. It also means that we are responsible for our creations, and it is up to us which one we are creating at any point. If we are creating hell for ourselves instead of heaven, well, that is our own fault. Some see this belief as a form of spiritual bypassing in which people use spirituality to blame the victim. My perspective. Personally, I have doubts about any absolute and simple descriptions of the realities of our universe and our experiences. Both the Christian heaven and the New Age 5D often depict these utopias as places in which nothing but goodness exists. This is wishful thinking designed more to attract followers than to describe reality. To me, there is no final state of existence or consciousness. Instead, there are infinite states reflecting different frequencies, or densities, or dimensions, or realities of experience. Furthermore, so-called higher dimensions are not better than lower dimensions. They are all created by the same source, or God, and they all have equal value and purpose for existence, as does everything in creation. Higher frequencies allow greater degrees of control, creating one's own reality, but are less complex and diverse in comparison to lower frequency realms. Lower frequency realms allow greater depth and diversity of experience. That is why they, too, are sought out by so many souls. It is said that there are many higher frequency/dimension/density beings who are eager to experience our 3D Earth, because it is so much more interesting than where they are. But higher realms also have their challenges. I do not think we can fully understand their challenges from our 3D state of consciousness. Perhaps one way to think of it is, again, in terms of a lucid dream. If we can change anything in our experience instantly in 5D, then that is a huge responsibility, the likes of which is unimaginable in our normal 3D existence. Of course, there are many of us in 3D who are anxious to get to 5D as soon as possible. That anxiousness itself is a barrier to ascension because the only way to get to 5D is to fill your 3D with love. I have written a lot on the different interpretations of the dimensions of reality. Those writings, linked above, are what I used to describe 5D in this article. The article below is what I personally find the most compelling model of spiritual reality and 5D. Based on Matthias DeStefano's model of reality, I believe that we experience heaven by celebrate with joy every possible experience that the universe has to offer. Matthias DeStefano's 9 Dimensions of Spiritual Reality. A Sirius Star System View of the Spiritual Dimensions of Reality. By Alan Liu, Medium.com. Time. In terms of time, everything is always moving toward higher frequencies, in line with a universe that is constantly expanding. At least that is how it feels, and how it is easiest to describe. In fact, 3D time is an illusion. We are experiencing all frequencies, densities, and dimensions at the same time in the moment point of now. The illusion of 3D time allows us to experience evolution and expansion. We are forever creating new present moment points in time, with a new past and new future. And each of those new creations is always in the direction of a higher frequency. Explainer, time and timelines, what they are and how to use them. An spiritualist way of understanding and using time. By Alan Liu, Medium.com. Some form of heaven or 5D will always be part of the future timelines that we create. And being in the future, we will never get there. What is more important is how that future impacts our present. The further we push heaven and 5D out into the future, the more different we make them from who we are and what we are experiencing today. And this is pushing us into that nasty suffering that we call the past. This is what the Christian tradition has tended to do, and might be why it has become less popular in recent years. In our instant gratification culture, we want our heaven now, we don't want to wait until we die. In U.S., decline of Christianity continues at rapid pace. An update on America's changing religious landscape. The religious landscape of the United States continues to change at www.pewforum.org. So I say yes to the goal of a 5D heaven on earth. I don't expect it to be the utopia that many seem to hold it to be. But I do think it can be interesting and fun to experience a higher vibrational world, if only because it is different from our 3D past. Related. What happened to 4D, the fourth dimension? Most modern-day spiritualists, not all, tend to dismiss 4D as a realm of astral monsters and space aliens that we need to get past as quickly as possible to experience the 5D utopia. I mentioned how 4D is sometimes described as our normal dream state, where what we experience is mostly random, confusing, and sometimes scary. That seems to be the reason people want to skip 4D and go straight to 5D, the lucid dreaming dimension. There is also a belief, though not common, that 3D, 5D, and 7D are closely related. Those are the realms in which we manifest ourselves most easily. And so we would also mostly skip 6D. As I stated above, all dimensions have value and purpose. I see 4D as the frequency level, in which we learn to use our psychic abilities, and our ability to create our own reality. 5D is the level where we master those skills to address new challenges that we cannot conceive of in our present state of consciousness. Are you psychic? Welcome to the 4th/5th dimensional planet Earth. A simple way to understand the transition from 3D to 5D Earth. By Alan Liu, Medium.com. Left arrow in this recording, Elon, an SSNEET, channeled by Andrew Bayek in the 1980s, discusses ascension and the importance 4D. For him, 4D is like 5D, but we still have our bodies. He says that is what many humans really want. And once they get there, they will not want to leave.
You got that right. That's the difference, folks. To get to heaven, you have to die first. To get to 5D, you just have to love, and you can take your body and your shit with you. It ain't rocket science, folks. Check out the 5D. It's heaven. Trust me. And it's coming fast for your ass. Message Mon out. I love you. Visit my website, messagemon.com. There's more there. Peace out.